Morning, folks. Very bright day in London, very mild, with about 8 going to about 10 degrees, very mild for this time of the year. But it is going to get colder at the end of the week, down to about 3 centigrade, that is. Uh, right, I'm often asked on YouTube if I work from photographs and so on. But as most of you know, that are familiar with what I do, I tend to work from my own previous stills of YouTube demonstrations. For example, I've got two tablets. I've got this small old 8-inch tablet, and I've got a new 10-inch tablet, which I'm not happy with. The sound level on it is not very good, but I'll hang on to it another week or so before I decide to send it back under warranty. It's Windows 10 Fusion 5. All the volume levels are set high, the maximum, but the volume itself is, well, 6 or 7 feet away from it. You don't have a job to hear it. It's not so bad on the headphones. I certainly can't get any sound on the BBC iPlayer, so any help with that would be very gratefully received. So to go back to my original statement, I like working from my own photographs. This is one of my favourite types of scene, woodland with water, like marshy woodland. It's all the things I like. The background, it's got an entry into the distance, but I'm going to do something like that, and I'll use that as the base, but it won't be copied. Well, I hope it won't be copied. And as often as not, I don't really have any idea what I'm going to paint until I come up to my studio here and have a go. I work around the edges. I do things that don't really need to be done, and I just approach it by stealth. So I've got my paper on here. This is the £90 Saunders rough, very nice paper. I've got my webcam set up. I hope I've got it set up okay. I've drawn I pulled a blind down on one of my 4-foot square windows. The sun's very low at the moment, very bright. So we're just using natural light today. So what I do is to wet the paper all over. I don't want it soaking because you've got to dry it. So for the initial washes, the sky washes, the background washes, I'll get those in before I dry, just so we can do the more solid painting. Okay, I've got a little bit of water over all of that. Now, I like grey skies with light peering through, so I'll give the whole lot a coat of raw sienna. Everything dries much lighter. Mix a bit more up or down the bottom here. We'll have a bit of alizarin in that sky, I think, low down. Don't use a lot of alizarin. It's probably the colour I use least, followed by burnt umber. Let's just get that in. What you put in the sky, put in where you're going to put the water. So then you don't have to go back over it. Now the grey. You can have either alizarin. Well, let's try the alizarin with the Payne's grey. That was Ron Ranson's favourite grey, I think. But both colours are not particularly strong. These are common colours, of course. So let's just get a bit darker over the top. See, these common colours, some of them are very strong and some of them are not so strong. But when you use them, you find out what colours you like. But don't think that by adding lots of colours you're going to improve your paintings. You're not. You're just going to increase your frustrations and the confusion. better to stick with a few colours that you know and learn all the mixes that they will do. And I'll give you the basic palette, which is raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey, burnt sienna, and cadmium yellow. They are my favourite colours for watercolours. They're all common. The yellow is getting a bit sort of dirty, as you can see here. Well, I'll just wipe off that ground colour, and I'll from my palette. These palettes, you just get them from a big supermarket, grocery supplies, wholesaler. I got these from Macro. That's a British brand, and they come in packs of 2 or big packs. They're just food display trays, but these ones are so tough. Oh, you can bend them, drop them, and they will last forever, absolutely forever. Right, now while that's still wet, let's put a bit of colour in the background. So just have a bit of alizarin, bit of ultramarine, bit of cad yellow. This will go to almost to nothing, but it just gives a bit of distance. The blue colours recede, the cool colours. Okay, and we can just build up on that. Right, then we'll put a bit of green in there, so a bit of cad yellow. Oh, lovely green. But vary your greens and leave a bit of space, a bit of sparkle for some water. A bit of thicker sienna. I never get tired of painting these. They all end up different, so don't worry about repetition. And then when that dries, I can put some dry brush over that, get some warmer colour in that foreground. Bit of burnt sienna. Love burnt sienna. Mixes very well with the cadmium yellow and with Payne's grey and with ultramarine. It's a very versatile colour. And in the Cottonman range, it's pretty saturated, as is the cadmium yellow and the raw sienna and the light red, of course. The light red is a very, very strong colour in Cottonman. It's an iron oxide. Right, okay, that's drying nicely, but I think we'll give that a dry. So headphones off if it doesn't mute properly. Right, so we put the initial washes on. Let's do some background. Just some very light blue trees, bit of red. Just some weaker bits. These will sort of soak into the. Oh, that's soaking in a bit too much. Try that bit more. No, it's not very nice. Right, well, we'll make something of that. So cover that. Like putting albatrosses over splodges in the sky. Right, let's have a bit of strength now. Bit of shadow in the proceedings. See, that's the advantage of putting a wash in first. Comes some nice heavy greenery in there. We've all got our own way of expressing these sort of things. It's our own handwriting, which you learn over many years. You learn style mainly by copying what's gone before, but then you develop your own style. Okay, that'll do for a moment. Let's get into that distance there now with some nice dark. Bit of sort of a dark green. A bit more warm in there. I'm keeping this darker background on the blue side to keep it cool. Okay, they're already that's different to what I did earlier in the previous painting. So this is where we want the bit of detail in. So they make the lighter passages where the water is just look a bit lighter. Okay, let that go. Right, I'm going to put a bit of background in now. A bit of just some lighter, very light blue trunks. Quite weak. Oh, too wet. Can just bring the hairs together in your hake by working them in a bit of water on your palette. Do this with a rigger if you wish. Or just a bit of background. It'll all get lost. But some of it will show through, we hope. Right. Reclip the paper if it needs it. There's still a little bit down. This paper, like a lot of rough papers, is very, very absorbent and soaks up a lot of water. No, I'm just going to give that another dry. Took a while to unmute then. Right, so what have we got? Background's in. Let's do a bit of work in that foreground with a rigger. Well, you don't have to use a rigger. I just want to put just a bit of darker stuff. Just it's easy with a rigger. I'll find the mentioned tool. Okay, so just sort of a dark green. Just just showing some. Okay, see that by putting a few twigs, you can bring them down, and they give the impression of water. Or just gives that illusion. Okay, now we can go in with the trees at the back now. So greeny grey, not brown. Let's just continue with some of this. Too much water on that. I'll put some heavier bases to these trunks because they'll look otherwise they look a bit if they're floating. That's all easily done. I can leave the sensor bit open. There's a bit on my River Wandle in Malden Hall Park. It's very much like this, with the river sort of at the back of this sort of bank. And we do this bike ride every week, being the old men. Right, let's put in some spring sort of leaves. So yellow, burnt sienna, raw sienna, should I say. All tablets turned off. Let's bring that back on. I'm only paying a sort of cursory glimpse now and again. Shadow. All right, let's do some more on the other side. Try and preserve that middle section. Now we have a bit of dark green. Just a yellow and a bit of Payne's grey, that is. Too much water. Try to make the canopies different from one side to the other. Right, some darker stuff now on the underneath those trunks. Okay, so we're going up here a little bit there, so let's just, because this is all flat wetlands here, it's called the wetlands. Okay, we've got a little bit of detail, I'll do that with a rigger. Put a bit of ivy in there. bit of bluey yellow in here. I don't think it's got the etherealness of the previous one. I'll just dry that off. I'm going to put a little bit of rigger work in there. Right, I'll use a different rigger. I've got two riggers I use. I've got the Frank Clark one, which is the green-handled one. It comes to a lovely point, and I've got this rigger here, which comes to a chisel edge. That's the one I'm going to use. So you can get both. All right, let's just put some twigs or branches up in the canopies here. So just strengthen up some of these a little bit. Right, strengthen up the foreground a bit, I think, with burnt sienna and a bit of ultramarine. Just warm, it's like a nice warm colour here. Okay, not much I can do with that now. I've made that more of a summer green than the spring green. Put a mount on it, have a look at it. Okay, so there's another. I'll just lift the camera up a bit. You can see up here I've written unmute to remind me to unmute. Right, I can't see too much. It's a bit weak. This one's a little bit weaker, I think, in the foreground. I might have used a smoother. I might have used a Fabriano on that one, the £130. Let's just bring that one down there. Okay, well, I think we'll let that go. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you like that. Just a work in for a Monday morning after a weekend of dissipation. No, it wasn't really. Right, see you soon. Bye bye.